Hey everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. And this is me, Oberon, with Goth Tarot, my weekly look into the shadow issues of our lives, whether we need work with them or not, or whether we just need to know about certain things that are going on. It's a 5-card reading, and it's for the collective, the entire collective, however you choose to see yourself as a goth. I know how I see myself. So of course I'm using a pentagram as my card spread, 5 cards, 5 points of the star. And each of them have a different focus, and for each I use a different deck. So we're going to start off with the first focus, which is called the Dark Design. And the Dark Design is the general environment that's going on. And I'm using the Haunted House Tarot for this particular position. It is, like many of my decks, a low Scarabeo. All right. Okay. It's the Hanged Man reversed. It's such an odd card because, of course, it looks like a skeleton too, but it is our Hanged Man. You can tell by the posture of the legs. And I think I'm going to lay that one right there for the time being, at least. So Hanged Man reversed, your dark design seems to indicate that you want to kind of come down from that tree you've been hanging on. You've been trying to think about what you can change, and maybe you've realized that you just have to be in the world rather than have some way of changing it. You maybe have to let the world change you in a way. And so that's the focus right now around you, is maybe finding what experiences actually draw you closer to what it is you desire, or what it is you're trying to be. Now, naturally, of course, that's pretty general, but we're going to look and see what is the actual things going on that maybe you do need to know about. I call that the Dark Whispers, and I use the Murder of Crows Tarot, which is a brilliant deck. It's also large and hard to shuffle. But we'll give it a go. So these dark whispers tend to be things that maybe are going on around you, that are information being talked about as people either gossip or just spend information about people, telling people what's going on. And so they may be things that are important enough for you to know about, that either you do find out, or you just, well, you need to find out. Let's just be honest there. So what is that? What are the Dark Whispers? It's the Knight of Wands. So I'll move my 5-point star that way. And the Knight of Wands, is movement, and the Knight of Wands is bravery and confidence, charisma. Someone maybe is trying to make an impression on you, I think. Or they want to make an impression on somebody that you're associated with to the point that maybe, there's sort of like a rivalry, perhaps. The Knight of Wands could be a sort of rival. So when I look at the first card, the Hanged Man reversed, maybe you're giving up on finishing something that this Knight of Wands feels they can come in and take over that. And so maybe you have to decide for sure, of course, if you are done with whatever's going on now around you, this is your environment, there's something changing and you're feeling like maybe you want to do a very different course to it. And that suggests, you don't want to make certain sacrifices. And so maybe this is the person who says, well, heck, I can do that. You're going to hear about this. It's sort of like weird little, whispers you hear about. And so it's a rival. So you may want to know more about that. All right. So then the next position could only be the dark truth. What is the real truth of all of this that's going on, it seems? And I'm using the Black Tarot for that. And that's because, truth tends to be black or white. The Black Tarot has a lot of grays, but its predominant flavor is black. And it's Gothic, of course, because of that, but it's sort of alien in a way, too. Some of the images are really semi-abstract in terms of stylistic, I guess you would say. So anyways, what is that dark truth? And by the way, this deck and the Murder of Crows are not Los Scarabeo, more independent publishers. So anyways, the dark truth is, it's the Ace of Wands. There is some sort of objective here, some sort of goal or feat to mount. And maybe your role in it should be more defined, or maybe you should, understand more about what it is that you may be moving towards or allowing someone else to move towards. But this seems to indicate, as the dark truth, that whatever this is really bigger than you, of course, and you know that. It's big to the point that maybe it brings in a lot of, other people that need to be brought in, or other situations that need to be brought in. So I'm not really sure what it could be. It sounds like just a community in a way, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's family goals, or maybe it's some sort of group goals, So now, of course, we have a sense of what it is that's the objectives and going on, but it still seems like that maybe with the interloper there, the possible rival, that this kind of sucks, or some part of it does. And so what you're going to want to find out is, what are the dark shadows? What are the things that drain your energy, like a vampire perhaps, or just somehow psychically, control you in certain ways? But mostly it's about that draining your energy, or diluting your purpose. So I'm using the Vampire's Tarot, not a Los Scarabeo. And we'll find out what the dark shadows are. Well, as someone I know would say, that's very interesting. And this is why I like using multiple decks, because then sometimes you get the same card, but a different interpretation of it. So it's the reversed Knight of Wands. And oddly enough, the way the spread works, he falls right on top of the other Knight of Wands. So is it the same person? Is that the person who seems to be draining your energy? This person who maybe is vying with you in certain ways to do something that maybe you're no longer feel needs to be done? It's all still a bit nebulous. So Goth people of good faith could tell me more if they wanted to, leave a comment here. But that's pretty interesting. So the other idea behind the reverse Knight of Wands is that we ourselves maybe are not finding our confidence or bravery, or feel that we are charismatic enough to kind of do this thing to, you know, bring people together or to make some sort of impression. So I still wonder, you know, if it's more likely that it's another person in your design or environment or whatever that is. So now we move to the final part of the 5-star, and it's the Dark Gift. And the Dark Gift is really about telling us how we can kind of use our own intuition or our own talents or skills or abilities or resources to maybe get better control or change, you know, what's going on here. So I'm going to use the Crow's Magic Tarot, and not a low Scarabeo. I'm not even sure why I brought that up. Anyways, this is a wonderful deck too, though. It has a lot of shamanic kind of imagery in it, and it's modern, but it is about 20 years old, I think. Maybe it's older than that. I don't know. It's an old deck. I like it. So, what is the Dark Gift that pulls us out of, or gives us the abilities to maybe change matters in all of this? And it's the 4 of Coins, and the 4 of Coins is upright. So the 4 of Coins, I think what this is saying, this is a time really for you to kind of put more of your own emphasis on what it is that makes you feel secure, and that if there are actual things going on that maybe challenge you in some form of safety, you know, whether it's, you know, somebody you think who can access your bank account and steal money from you, or somebody who, you know, seems suspicious where you work at and seems like they want to argue with you, or any number of other situations. Of course, you know, handle it with the proper care that you need to. But this is a warning saying that maybe this is a time for you to check on your security. It's not necessarily that, you know, I see like some dark Knight of Wands coming towards you, you know, but I think you need to feel better and secure, and that can be mostly accomplished by just taking a thorough inventory of what it is you feel is important to you and how you feel, you know, its disposition is handled in the case of any number of, you know, different kinds of events. I know it sounds a little weird for Goth Tarot, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but that's pretty much what I'm going to go with. So, oh, that one doesn't have a camera. All right, so now I'm going to use the remaining time I have here to do a quick meditation shadow work from the Dark Light Oracle. And I'm no longer going to do the night prayers. I think I'll just roll it back towards doing light meditations here. So the Dark Light Oracle is by Carol Ann Ashkenazi, and it's a wonderful little set. It's really nice. I like it. It's about 36 to 40 cards, I think. Anyways, I just like to shuffle and pull them and read from them. It's very pleasant. And it says Heartless Palace, number 18. Arrows in the Heart. Heartbreak Palace, arrows in the heart. The statue behind me is wounded by piercing arrows and bleeds endlessly. His love is gone, his hope has died, and he feels that any kind of joy has deserted him. So here I come to remind him that red is also the color of his future love, and his penance will end. Are you in pain too? Why? What have you lost? What is breaking your heart? Do not let yourself become a suffering soul. Remember that joy and love are nearer than you think. Remember that skies will be blue after they've been gray. Follow through with your pain, but then take this arrow out of your heart and return healed to the world. Affirmation. I accept feeling this suffering to the deepest, but having done so, I stop long self-imposed penance, and I come back to life and joy. So, this meditation shadow work does seem to match kind of what could be going on this week. It does seem like there's a little bit of consternation in those cards that I read. Just going to show them briefly again. So I think, like the message of the card, you should, of course, think about what it is that you need to do to make sure that, you're safe, you are protected. The key words to the Heartbreak Palace are broken heart, suffering, end of love, self-punishment, victimization, and penance. And so we can also look at this too another way too, that this isn't necessarily, a danger to our security that's approaching from the outside, but maybe it's approaching from the inside, the way that, we maybe make ourselves a victim. When I look at that, the Hangman reverse, and then the opposition of the two Knight of Wands. So I think it's really not a bad reading, because it does just tell us that we just need to take stock of ourselves, and maybe, there's a bit of acceptance of our suffering, that sometimes it is, what we just have to work our way through. And that the gray skies will indeed, just like the eclipse this afternoon. I didn't mention that, but I filmed this about an hour after the eclipse. But just like the eclipse says, the sun comes back after being nearly swallowed by the shadow of the moon. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care.